Opening day at Universal Studios Florida was a mess. Spielberg, after cutting the rope to the park, got stuck on Jaws. Kong had to be controlled manually as the animatronic system used to stop it hitting the trams was playing up, and Earthquake even had a power outage. But one opening day offering was a consistent staple, wowing guests and offering that movie magic. The Ghostbusters Spooktacular. Who you gonna call? Not Universal Studios Florida anymore, that's for sure. While a Ghostbusters dark ride similar to Haunted Mansion had previously been planned for Six Flags but never made, it was Universal that would claim the rights to using the popular movie within a theme park.
Hey America, here's your chance to be a Ghostbuster. Looking for a career that's exciting? Be a Ghostbuster.
After the success of the original Ghostbusters movie, a sequel was inevitable, and Ghostbusters 2 was planned for release in 1989. 1 year before the opening of Universal Studios Florida, and the Ghostbusters will be a large part of the marketing of the new Universal Park.
You're going to be right there, like you were standing just a little bit to one side of the Ghostbusters when all that was happening, and that's a pretty unique experience.
Located in the New York section of the park, the Ghostbusters Spooktacular was a live-action show featuring the 4 Ghostbusters. The original show, created by Landmark, a frequent collaborator with Universal, also known for working on Confrontation, Spider-Man the Ride, and the overall master plan for Islands of Adventure, along with many other Universal attractions, created and designed the show out in California and used some of the original molds for the ghosts, the same as the first Ghostbusters movie. So who designed the ghosts not inspired by the movies? Well, none other than the creators of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the Chiodo brothers. Some of the ghosts even had a very similar look to those from the movie.
I'm Lindy, and welcome to the world of Ghostbusters. On this rooftop, a spectacular battle was fought with an ancient demigod known as Gozer.
The show opened with the park in 1990, entering in the queue line through the iconic fire station from the movie. The set would feature a recreation of the Temple of Gozer where the Ghostbusters had battled at the end of the first movie. The show was essentially recreating the rooftop ending of the movie itself, and the ghosts created were full scale and quite impressive. No screens were used here. The stage setup was somewhat unique. Between the audience and the stage were panels of glass. In the original version, it opened with a Universal tour guide introducing the audience to the set and explaining the scenario. While explaining, Slimer flies in and out and seems to appear and disappear behind her. That full panel of glass between you and the stage was used to achieve this using the Pepper's Ghost effect, most famously used within the Haunted Mansion. The full-size recreations of the ghosts from the movies were actually hidden from guest view, and what was being seen on stage was a reflection of them. When lit up, they could appear to be floating or even moving around. While the host is saying she doesn't even believe in ghosts, Gozer, the main villain from the original movie, appears.
Come on, you to enter my temple!
No way! Oh no! Help!
Ghostbusters!
The Ghostbusters theme plays, and of course, they arrive on the scene. All of their shots at Gozer appear to miss, and she escapes. The highlight of the show was the one animatronic that did appear on the stage. A full-size replica of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Wow, its head anyway, which was twice the size of Kong's head from Confrontation next door. The animatronic travelled up a giant ramp to appear towering over the set, and the area was covered in liquid nitrogen to disguise the animatronic leaving, and give the appearance of him beginning to melt. After his hidden exit, the tour guide returns and the show ends, and you find yourself heading out into the Ghostbusters gift shop paranormal store, where the real money was made. The show was a huge hit, but it was extremely short at around 11 minutes. Less than 1 year after the park opened, in March 1991, a second seasonal Ghostbusters show was added to the list of attractions called Streetbusters, or Beetlejuice Dead in Concert, located right outside near the entrance to the original show. The new show featured the Ghostbusters going head to head with the other Universal ghost with the most, Beetlejuice. It involved them being possessed and dancing to songs such as Madonna's Vogue and MC Hammer's Can't Touch This, for some reason. Featuring a soprano-sounding voice Slimer puppet that would emerge out of the Ecto-1, the puppet itself backpacks, and the training of the puppeteers were completed in a short 10 weeks. The show actually featured a young Wayne Brady playing Winston, along with many other talented actors over the years. In fact, former head creative of Halloween Horror Nights, J. Michael Roddy, began his career at Universal as a Ghostbuster in the main show. The show also occurred at the first Halloween Horror Nights, Fright Nights. The following year saw Beetlejuice get its own show with Beetlejuice's Graveyard Review, and ran alongside Streetbusters until it ended in 1993.
Yes, now you can run a Ghostbuster branch office right in your own neighborhood.
Catch ghosts? Make money?
It's that easy!
Also the same year, the Ghostbusters Spooktacular received a refresh, adding a sizable pre-show, making the runtime of the show reach 20 minutes.
I was a school teacher.
I was a short order cook.
Ja veel woorden betreft een socialistische despotie.
Now they're making real money! Right, everybody? So from now on, if there's something weird in your neighborhood, who they gonna call? You!
The pre-show now featured Rick Moranis' character, Louis Tully, showing a short video commercial advertising the Ghostbusters as the best job in the world, and picking volunteers from the audience. One to hold pink goo, one to wear a machine that would read his mind, which on screen shows the volunteer in a wedding gown, or a few other scenarios, and the third volunteer who is blamed for getting the audience wet when Louis squirts a piece of ghost hunting equipment at them. You then move into the main theatre. The show had a new story with a similar theme. Louis attempts to rope you into starting your own Ghostbusters franchise, for a fee of course.
That's right, because when a house is being possessed by a ghost, folks, you just take the ghost, you toss it in there, charge a hefty annual storage fee. That's where you make your money.
Walter Peck, the antagonist from the EPA in the movies, arrived to shut down the Ectoplasmic Containment Center, which is when the same ghost effects from the previous show begin, and the story plays out as before. The attraction continued to operate in the same capacity until it was closed on November 9th, 1996, with members of the Ghostbuster films in attendance. The replacement, 2 years later, will be Twister Ride It Out. That is a ride we're going to be taking an expedition to soon though.
I'm Bill Paxton. I play a storm chaser determined to confront that mystery by getting as close as possible to a raging twister.
And I'm Helen Hunt.
This was not actually the last appearance of the Ghostbusters at Universal Florida, however. In 2002, after 6 years of not being featured in the parks, they returned, with a brand new show called Extreme Ghostbusters: The Great Frightway, based loosely on the 1997 cartoon series of the same name. The new show once again featured the Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice in front of the New York Public Library. It was basically a rehash of the old street show with Beetlejuice taking over the Ghostbusters' bodies again and dancing to now classic songs by NSYNC and Britney Spears. The show ran for 4 years before ending in 2005 when Universal didn't renew the contract with Columbia Pictures for the rights to use the Ghostbusters brand, closing the chapter on the Ghostbusters at Universal Orlando. The Ghostbusters would find new homes around the world throughout the years, including Six Flags Mexico, Motion Gate Dubai, and Hyde Park in Germany. All of the animatronics built for the show were destroyed when it closed, and the Ecto-1 car was left to rot in the backlot studio. It was later saved by a Ghostbuster enthusiast when he purchased it from Universal and fully restored it to travel around the USA. While the Ghostbusters store may be gone, small remnants of Ghostbusters merchandise can still be found today in the park shops. The entrance facade of that iconic fire station still exists today with nods to the past, but now there's a roller coaster flying through the top of it.
'Cause I'm too sexy for my love's going to leave. I'm too sexy for my car, too sexy for my car, too sexy by far.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Universal Studios Florida. Where would you like to go on the expedition next? Let me know in the comments below. A special thank you to our Patreons for supporting the channel. Make sure you subscribe to join us on the expedition, and we will see you next time.